Mashle, Magic, and Muscles is a series that understands the genres it exists within. More importantly, it understands how to bend them without breaking them. It takes the structure of fantasy storytelling and the rhythm of shonen battle anime and places them side by side, not to replace them, but to test how far they can be pushed. Like One Punch Man, Mashle operates as a kind of genre reflection. It looks at familiar systems, power scaling, magical hierarchy, chosen systems, and treats them not as rules to follow, but as rules to examine. The result is something that feels both familiar and slightly off at the same time, which is where its identity begins to form. People often describe Mashle as Harry Potter meets One Punch Man, but that framing only explains the surface level contrast. Magic versus muscles, structure versus disruption, system versus anomaly. What Mashle actually does is more controlled than that. It does not reject genre expectations outright. It moves through them first, then quietly changes how they resolve. That difference is important, because parody alone is not enough to carry a series like this. If everything is a joke, nothing has weight. Timing is what decides whether Mashle becomes meaningful or forgettable, when to follow the rules and when to break them, and how long to stay in each state. Even in its earliest episodes, this balance is visible. The fights are not treated as interruptions to comedy or story. They are structured like proper battles, built with rhythm, escalation, and payoff. Magic is shown with clarity and intention. Spells have form, cost, technique. They feel designed. And then there's Mash, whose strength does not follow that logic at all. His power is not explained through systems or mechanics in the same way. It simply exists. It's heavy, immediate, and unreasonable, but it is still framed with care, not as chaos, but as contrast. The animation treats both magic and physical strength with the same visual seriousness. One is expressive and intricate, the other is direct and overwhelming. And in that contrast, the series finds its tone. It's not saying one system is better than the other. It is showing what happens when two storytelling logics are forced to exist in the same space. What remains is a kind of controlled imbalance, a world where expectations are constantly set and then gently moved out of place. And Mashle works best when that rhythm is maintained. Not too predictable, not too chaotic. Just enough structure to recognize and just enough disruption to question it. At its core, Mashle is not only about parodying of fantasy or shonen tropes. It's about how those tropes behave when they are no longer treated as fixed rules, and whether a story can still feel meaningful when its foundations are being quietly rewritten in real time. And that is what it takes to be great.
Wait, they can't let that slide!
That's so not fair! You totally cheated! Man, that is such BS!